Yes, mate. How are you? You right?
I'm all good, my man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just chilling out after another gym session. Just chilled out, had a nice salmon and eating all healthy and that. So yeah, how are you, mate? You right?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I've been looking at your stories and that, and been seeing that like you still keep an eye at it in the gym. Is
Yeah,
it right that you're training in a top amateur boxing club now up your way?
yeah, I am as well. I've started doing 2 days a week at an amateur boxing gym with lads that are training now to fight in the national ABA championships this year as well. So I'm getting top quality rounds of sparring with them, the work rate with them, and then I'm also work training with Simon. I think I'm with Simon Monday, Wednesdays, Sundays, and I'm at the amateurs on the Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm having Saturday rest. I think Saturday rest, and then Friday I just go to a local gym that I'm in, do some cardio as it stands until we start a full camp.
Yeah, that's class, mate. And what was your thoughts on the show the other night in Newcastle?
Uh, personally, I don't think it's anyone's fault for the card. That the a card, I can't say it was a poor card, or the matchmaking wasn't what it was. I think, in all honesty, I just think that it was really under par. It was an under par performance by a lot of lads out there. There was a lot of lads hesitating to throw punches or engage. There was scrappiness. I think there was no technical sort of skill there. I think the only one. I think obviously the last fight, Boardman, Cole Thompson expected Cole to go through him anyway because he's a big lad and he hits hard. And in Pick Jardine versus Tony Shields,
Yeah.
that was a good fight. But I knew Tony was going to be awkward. I don't know him personally, but I watched him on BKB, and he looked like a really awkward kid. To be fair, that was a good scrap. And him, Lewis Keane, I think was good. It was good to see him coming back and obviously measuring the rounds, and you could just see he was obviously trying to find his range and his distance without taking an unnecessary shots. And I've been there, to be fair. I've been in that situation when you come off the back of a knockout loss and then you've got to get straight back into it, and you're sort of hesitant on obviously what you're doing. You're thinking about it too much. But now he's had his win. You know what I mean? And it's a nice clean win, and he'll be back in the game. So I'm good. I'm glad for him. But the rest of the card, mate, um, there was some fights that was okay, but a lot of it was under. Or it's just the level just weren't there. To be fair, it was disappointing. To be honest, I was pretty bored for a lot of it.
Yeah, what did you think of the young kid who's just got into it? Joe Lister's just turned 20. It's a big move, isn't it, for a 20-year-old kid? It's a big move for him to jump in there with with the bare
Yeah,
knuckle lads.
yeah. I think it. I mean, you can never tell. To be fair, I suppose because he's 20, he had a. He looked okay, to be fair, like, you know what I mean. But you can never say until they're tested. And John, I mean, obviously John done okay in the clinch, but John's not really a threatening. And this is no offense to John, but he doesn't really bring much threats, obviously, to him. So it's hard to see whether they're going to be good or not. Like, you've seen it with obviously Ryan's from our stable. Like, obviously he had a good win against Will, but then he struggled a bit when he had it put on him, and that's a lesson that he's got to learn, and he's got to go through and develop on that now and adapt to, you know what I mean, to that sort of level, and adapt to obviously having the pressure put on him and coming back and knowing when to dig in. But from what I've seen with Joe, obviously he's got good skills and he's got obviously good pedigree behind him. But I'd like to see him in spare knuckle. I'd just like to see him with a little bit more pressure on it and how he handles it, because you can never say too much. Obviously, we all obviously, like, the next best thing comes in and we're like, oh yeah, looks brilliant, looks brilliant. But like I say, you only know how good they are when they go through the trenches. Do you know what I mean? And it's how they adapt and overcome the situation that they get put in, and win the fight. So I do want to see him tested now. I think he's fought John Ferguson, who's a decent level opponent for your first fight. So obviously, I think a tougher opponent now, and so obviously see how he develops, comes through, and then obviously we can start looking at him properly, then see how far he's going to go.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I had David Feldman on the other night. Just another question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
When you got brought up into the conversation, I said they've got plans and all that in the background, but he did say to me that there was £155 fight that you were going to be in. But I just wanted to know, did you hear that?
No. So I've messaged Feldman today, and we are going to catch up this week. And that's one of the questions I'm going to ask because I don't know if that's gone to somebody else, but I definitely haven't been offered a fight at 155. And if I was to get offered a fight at 155, obviously it's a cut that I've never done before, but it's a cut that maybe I could push myself to do if the fight was right. If they turn around to me and said, "Do you want to fight Franco Tenaglia for the £155 total?" then I'd agree to it, and I'd make the weight. I'd make the weight. But as it stands, I've had no offer for that fight, so that's one thing I obviously want to ask him this week and see what that fight was.
Yeah, what it might have been a plan that they were going to offer you, but it sort of fell through before they got the chance to get you. It might have been something like that.
Mate, it might have been like a Palomino or something. You know what I mean? It could have been that because I know he's fighting Howard Davis and I was waiting on an opponent for that. So it could have been that in the pipeline, but I wouldn't have dropped down to 155 just to have a fight with Palomino for nothing. If I was going to do that cut, I'd want to fight for a title. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely, mate. And what's the plans with yourself now? Then you're just going to wait out for this call you've got scheduled in with David Feldman
Yeah,
and just see what, because he sounded like he's got some big opportunities on the table for you on the podcast.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully. I mean, obviously, see how the cookie crumbles now and how things work out with the current situation. I know Austin Trout's he's the current champion. I've heard on the grapevine numerous sources that he's obviously he's looking at Tenaglia and he obviously looks at it as an easy fight for him, doesn't he? Because he's the better boxer and I think he wants to go down to 155. So if that's the case, that means that he would it means more than likely would have to vacate it or an interim title could come up with someone that's like made for it, like Trinidad Snake and in myself, like me versus Trinidad Snake, maybe for the interim or for the vacant world title would be brilliant. But like I say, I know I wanted a European strap. That's being fought for elsewhere now. So it doesn't really bother me. It's what the company wants, isn't it? And I'm hoping that the company have got bigger plans for me. To be fair, because like I say, everybody's saying how phenomenal I looked in my last shape, in my last fight against Johnny Graham. When I screwed my head on now, and I'm training like a professional athlete, and and I just know that this year is gonna. I say it every time, but now I've gone back to the amateur gym as well now, and I can already feel it. My power, like I was on the pads today. Someone saying I'm hitting the hardest ever hit before. I just think that no one's going to beat me this year. I don't care who it is 165 or if the go to 175 at some point and beat someone like Mundau. I don't care. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just I want titles this year. That's what I want. I just want to win titles, whether it's a European at 175 or a world title at 165 or a world title at 175. That's the next move for me now.
Yeah, wicked, mate. And another thing that I was speaking to Feldman about, I was speaking to Simon as well at the weekend. And it's a question I asked him as well. David Feldman said 100% BKFC Birmingham is going to happen this year. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you, obviously, with there being that many fighters just in your gym alone who fight bare knuckle, why should BKFC come to Birmingham?
Because I'm the biggest. The thing is, I am the biggest draw in Birmingham. There is no doubt. Say Birmingham. I'm the biggest draw in the UK. Apart from Mick Terrell in his hometown of Newcastle, there's no one selling more tickets and generating more interest than me. I talk the talk, I walk the walk. You know what I mean? I'm by far one of the biggest names in the UK. You Google me and AI even says I'll come on as one of the top names in BKFC. You know what I mean? At the end of the
Yeah,
day, the facts don't lie. AI doesn't lie anymore. Do you know what I mean? And people want to see me fight in Birmingham. The Utility Arena, right? This is the fact now. It holds a bigger capacity than the Wembley Over Arena. So you imagine we've done a Wembley show that holds 12,500. We've got the Utility that can hold 15,000. I'm not saying we'll do 15,000 in there. But it could easily, I mean, we've done 6,000 as a record in the UK. We could easily break that. We could do 9,000 at the Utility. And that could be the biggest ever grossing bare knuckle event in the UK ever with the highest tickets. And I think I could do that because I'm really popular in Birmingham. I've got a massive fan base with Birmingham City Football Club. And I just think that if it comes to Birmingham and there's a title on the line and there's a good card, BKFC, the first time ever in Birmingham, the first ever professional bare knuckle event in Birmingham in history. and then you've got the first ever inaugural BKFC UK welterweight champion fighting on the main card over fighting for a world title or a Euro at a higher weight. I think that just it sells so many tickets. Like it's hard to understand. Like what I've told you before, I'll go out on a night out. I get stopped all the time. Pictures, pictures. People know who I am in Birmingham. I'm a massive draw, so I really do think it needs to come to Birmingham. We've got a massive stable. We've got loads of fighters. Like 8, 9 Birmingham fighters that all want to jump on the card. Plenty for the undercard as well. You could have 15, 16 fights on that card. It'd be unbelievable.
That's what I mean as well. And the difference with this show is the fighters that are going to be fighting on the card are all local doing tickets.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah. And that's it. Like it, it can happen. I mean, they done Newcastle the utility, and I don't know if they. I think they was it 1,500 to 2,000 there. You can actually reduce the capacity at Birmingham to like 2,500. But if you aim for two, if you aim low, and you go high, you know what I mean. If you aim low and you end up going high at the end, you broke the barriers. You know everything's a bonus. But I think just to be fighting in the utility, there's a couple of things. One, it's local to the city centre. The transport, everything's there. Hotels, there's bars, there's pubs. The area is really popular for nightlife. It's right on the doorstep. You walk out of the utility and you are in the bars, you're in Brindley Place, you're in the fancy restaurants and pubs and where everybody wants to be. It's the place to be in Birmingham. I think if you're going to put a show on, it needs to be at the utility.
And if you had the dream fight now to headline at the utility in Birmingham, who would it be?
Um, I don't really know, to be fair, because I can't. I don't really know
It's
who.
a bit all over at the minute, the
Yeah,
£165 division, isn't it?
I can't like in it. So obviously you got the Lindsay rematch, but Lindsay's gone quiet now, and I don't know what's happened with him. You've got obviously Trinidad Snake, he's number one, and I think he's next in line. Austin Trout would be a wicked fight as well because I know I've got the beating of Austin Trout. Rico Franco he ain't really done much to be fair. Who's he beat? Caleb Harris. He beat the journeyman French guy that he was no good. He beat Darren Godfrey, who was just fucking no good. He had a good win over Caleb, who was shit, and then he fucking lost to Trout. So he doesn't really bring much to the table now. To be fair, if I win and he loses his next one, like that's it. He's in, you know what I mean. He's in the dust. He'll have to work his way back up. But I think, in all honesty, I just want a title fight. I don't think I care who it is. I'm not bothered. If they just give me a title fight and say, look, you're fighting for a European or a world title in your hometown, like, I think world title would just sell it. To be honest, if like I was, you know what I mean, advertising myself to become the first ever BKFC world champion in Birmingham and the second ever BKFC world champion from Britain in the hometown of Birmingham. I think that sounds the fault. So whoever it is, regardless, I don't care if it's Dave Mundell or Rico or Jimmy Sweeney or Trout or Lindsay or you know what I mean, anybody, just as long as it's for a bout. I want a title wrapped around my waist at the end of it in front of all my fans.
Yeah, and I know you obviously love fighting out in America and that's something that you're wanting to do again. But would you pick fighting in Birmingham over a big fight in America
Yeah,
all day?
yeah, all day, and this is what a lot of people join BKFC because they think America, America, America. And I fought in America, and I love it. And don't get me wrong, I think the fans are brilliant. I think the atmosphere is amazing, and I'd love to fight in America again. But if somebody said to me like, "Where's the best place you want to fight?" It's Birmingham all day, every day. It has to be Birmingham because there's no right. One thing I'm gonna get major ticket commission because I sell so many anyway. I think if you look at Coventry, I've done £28,500 worth of tickets, which in dollars is about 34 grand, $34,000 of tickets. I mean, there aren't many Americans doing that.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. Wow. I think now I'm the highest grossing ticket seller in the UK. So it only makes sense that I fought in Birmingham. Now we had a fight in Coventry, but the thing is, Coventry is an hour from Birmingham. It's an hour because of transport, as soon as people have to get taxis and coaches, people just sort of, you know what I mean. They're a bit, but when people
Yeah.
know they can go out for a drink and on the doorstep they've got an arena to go watch bare knuckle fighting, that's gonna sell. I know it is.
Yeah, I was speaking to George at the weekend as well, and he was telling us when you were over America, like it was mad because obviously the fans and that had like posters of you and like posters
Yeah,
of for Connor and that, which is fucking mental,
yeah,
innit?
yeah. Obviously, I think it was such an achievement to go over to America anyway because I come over. I was the third ever British fighter to be signed by BKFC. I was there. I was one of the OGs. Me, James, no, me, Mick, Terrell, and Tyler, and then obviously James, Lily. So there was four of us before BKFC even came to the UK. But obviously, when I went over there, you're a massive thing over there. When you go over there as a British lad who talks, you know what I mean, with the charisma. I love
Yeah.
myself, you know what I mean. I was like a little mini Conor McGregor, sort of like parading around in my Louis Vuitton glasses, and I thought I was unbelievable. Rocking a Stone Island tracksuit, like anyone was going to get splattered on the way through. Pang! But yeah, like it was wicked over there. Like when I came out, like there was fans outside going, "Yeah, Connor." Obviously, when I lost, when I got knocked down, everyone was chanting USA. But at the end of it, when I won, everyone was chanting my name, Connor the Brumtown Bomber, buzzing. So, like
Yeah,
I
the
said,
mad the American fans, like I witnessed
oh
it in
yeah,
Philadelphia, that the sort of up and down, like I know with all the support.
I think I can honestly say, from what I know, is they are better combat sports fans in terms of they truly love the game and they go to watch. Whereas our fans are a little bit like, if they know you and they know you are like, if you're close to them, they'll come and watch you. But it's hard to sort of get bumps on seats. The difference between America and England as well is England. That it's you know yourself. It's tight in England for money. Like people their their cost of living is a lot higher than how it is in America. America's a lot cheaper than over here, so it's easy to
Yeah,
buy a ticket and get a hotel, a plane and a hotel. Like it's mad that a venue 2 hours away from Birmingham with hotels and all that can end up cost be a £500 night. That's for someone. That's like, you know what I mean. That's nearly 2 weeks' wages for some people on low wages. So you have to be careful with.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That you get where people struggle selling tickets and stuff there because of obviously the fan base. I'm lucky now. I'm lucky because I've got a massive fan base. But for the people that are smaller than me, smaller level, it's tough for them. And that's the difference, I suppose, with the Americans. The Americans are just game for it. They don't even. It's not. That's what I love about Americans. Americans will just fly 3, 4 hours across the country, across states, to go watch a fight with no fighters that they personally know, just because of the fans of the game. Whereas in England, unless that's matchroom boxing, it's Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua, etc. You're not really getting that with bare knuckle because it's still not really took off to the point where it needs to be. So I just think it needs to step up a bit more now with the shows, and we start signing big, big level names like Chisora. Like I don't know why they don't reach back out to Chisora again. I know they've done it already and just say, look, I know you're going to retire. Because let's be honest, Joshua and that's not going to fight him. So I think he should come to BKFC.
Well, Football Feldman said that on the podcast that we've got a surprise superstar everywhere from the UK signed over. Who you guys are going to love. We've signed him,
I'd
so I
love to know
wonder if
who
it's
it is.
him.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love that. But I don't think it is because at the end of the fight, I thought he would have dropped that. Do you know what I mean? He would have said because I was kind of hoping he'd do what Regis Progress done
He
and
won. He won though, didn't he? When he win, when you win, you've always got another big money fight in boxing when you're someone like Derek Chisora.
problem is though is he won, but and I loved Derek, but and everyone's saying he done really well in that, but he beat Otto Wallin and Otto's okay, but Joshua destroyed him. He's not going to get the Joshua fight. He's not going to get Dubois. He's not going to get Usyk. I just don't see who's there for him now. Do you know what I mean? They'll probably give him Moses the Timer, and Moses the Timer will batter him because Moses is young, up and coming. I think for Chisora now, I really do think he just needs to hang in. Who wants to lose their last match if they retire? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he could retire on a high now. Like, to be fair,
Of course, yeah. That's if I was Chisora now, I'd think right. I'm going to retire. I'd probably do bare knuckle. Make a stack load of. He doesn't understand, honestly. Personally, now if Chisora fought Anthony Joshua, right? In gloved, and he fought Alistair Overeem or something called fucking Ngannou in bare knuckle. The bare knuckle will sell more than the gloved because people won't want to watch the glove fight. They won't care. They know
yeah.
that Joshua's going to beat him. But if he comes to BKFC, it's a niche. It's a news like people are like Chisora bare knuckle. That's unbelievable. It's incredible. When I put up my post about it, people commenting, messaging me, going, "No way!" As if Chisora could have been in BKFC. That would have been unbelievable. I'm like, "I know, yeah, trust me, mental."
I don't know if this is true, but I heard off multiple sources that the night of BKFC Marbella, it done more pay-per-views than Bivol and Beterbiev.
Really? Yeah, it could have though. Like you just don't know. BKFC is getting bigger now. DAZN obviously have got it, and I think they're showing every fight on DAZN now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Did they show the one Newcastle?
I don't know like if it was on live, but I know it goes straight on like the DAZN app
Yeah.
and that.
So I think eventually it'll all just be mainstream DAZN now. Like it's a mainstream sport. BKFC. No other organisation in the world is doing what BKFC are doing now. They've got DAZN on board. DAZN are now broadcasting the shows, so it's perfect now because obviously like it's becoming like that number two, isn't it? You know, obviously you've got your number one UFC, and I still think like look, it's hard to say like boxing's just its own thing, isn't it? Really, but if you look at UFC, which is an MMA promotion, if you're looking at like BKFC as a promotion, it's gonna be number two, isn't it? Really, now you gotta think it's there. It's one of the most talked about promotions in the world. You know, you've got the likes of every fighter now is eyeing it up. Your Robbie Lawlers, your ex UFCs, Riggy's pro grays, pro boxers are going to start coming over. Guillermo Rigondeaux, he's still not had his debut yet, but I want to see him in it. Do you know what I mean? Like he's on the back burner, isn't he? Because he was signed. Didn't BKFC sign him?
Yeah, they signed him. Yeah,
So he like I mean he
one of the most decorated boxers of all time.
exactly. So yeah, like I say, I'm looking forward to the future of it. Obviously, I'm still young. I'm 30. That's another thing as well. Like Austin Trout, 40. Jimmy Sweeney just signed over 40. Uh, most fighters now upper 30s to 40 ain't got long left, which is good for me because I'm sitting there thinking I've still probably got another 5 6 years left in me. So if
Yeah,
I can keep at the top for 5 to 6 years. By the time these champions now be retired and gone, and they'll be sitting in the stands as a fan, I'll still be reigning, which is good. You know what I mean? Because I'm in it for the long run now. Like there was a part of me that's like, oh, I'll retire, but you know, if I'm gonna keep cashing good checks and breaking necks and wrapping straps around my waist and still getting bigger and bigger, I'm gonna do it.
yeah, definitely, mate. And I think the only thing it needs over here in the UK now is like because the UK love fighting, bare knuckle fighting. We're a rough country, aren't we? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Up and down
yeah,
from top to bottom. And I think we just need that little boost of a budget for or whatever it is to
yeah.
build promotion, mate. Like have these big banners, the street lampposts full of the lads' faces who were fighting like Marbury and Philadelphia and that. All the big screens in the city centre where the fights happen and that. I think it needs to happen. Try it.
Yeah, 100%. This is what it needs. It needs to put like in Birmingham, right? When you drive through over the Aston Express Line, there's massive billboards, like electronical billboards in a boring where you see me advertising the documentary, digital billboards. If you was to
Yeah,
do a Birmingham show, you'd want it everywhere. Do you know what I mean? You'd want them vans that drive up and that. You want people to see it and go BKFC Birmingham, BKFC Birmingham, Conatini versus someone like Snake for the world title, and then promote the fuck out of it because you got to think as well, Birmingham. You got Leon Edwards, just the former welterweight UFC champion. He'll be there. The amount of celebrities in Birmingham that'll come to the fight, you know what I mean? It'll be a massive spectacle. Be unbelievable. I know Birmingham City football players that'll be landing there as well. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It'd be a huge event. I think every time I get too carried away with this Birmingham thing, but hopefully one day my dream comes true.
And what's been your thoughts on the whole like shows away over the last 6 months? Like obviously the Marbury show, the
Oh yeah.
Philadelphia show, all the big shows that have been happening.
I just to be honest, and I was one thing I was jealous of that Philadelphia card because my dream as a kid when I watched TV and I watched Joe Kawasaki and Ricky Hatton and I watched them coming out as a massive crowds and I used to think that's what I want. I want to go out and fight in front of a massive crowd. I want to be in the. Do you know what I mean? I want to be under the spotlights in front of thousands of people. And to see that Philadelphia card with nearly 18,000 people in the crowd, it just goes to show it's the next level. You know, the Marbella one was unbelievable. And we was going to go, wasn't we, Philadelphia? I couldn't go in the end and you did. And I was
Yeah.
gutted. But the shows are brilliant. I mean, you seen that Mohegan Sun, Julian Lane versus Van Camp? That was sold out show.
Yeah,
Oh,
9,000 people, and I think it was.
America's killing it now. America have
They've sussed it, haven't they?
they've got it on lock now. And this is what the UK need. The UK need to follow suit, but obviously, I just think, like you say, the promotion and the way things are done, when it'll all start ramping up. Obviously, America's setting the bar because it's based in America. The fights are just There's more fighters, and the roster's huge in America compared to the UK. And the venues as well. Look how hard it is in the UK to find a venue that's decent enough to hold a decent crowd and stuff. Like, their arenas and they're expensive. Where in America, you can. When I fought in New York, that casino was holding 2,000 in that one room. It's crazy. Like, they've just got massive venues everywhere.
Yeah, it's like in America and that they've had the money to sort of like get the big names into having the Mike Perrys, the Eddie Alvarez's, and
Yeah,
that. Like, if we had a couple of well-known faces,
yeah.
like household names, coming onto the UK scene just to
Oh,
build a few shows up, it'd work, wouldn't it?
well, look at Michael Venom Page now. Like, Michael Venom Page, they got him and he's gone to UFC. He's just beat that Shara Bullet.
Yeah,
Shara.
the
Exactly.
one who's blind
Yeah,
in one
like,
eye.
he's flying now, and obviously he might. I think I spoke to Mike. Obviously, me and Mike have sparred on that, and Mike actually said he'd probably like be inclined to come back to BKFC at some point. So I think when that UFC, maybe when he's probably because he's not gonna. He's not saying he's gonna leave UFC because he thinks UFC is better, but I think it's because now he's joined UFC. He's probably going to try and get as much as he can out of being with UFC, and then I do think he probably will come to back to bare knuckle. I know there's many, like you've got Liam Williams, who said he wants to come over. That Jack Cullen's just signed. He's now fighting in Manchester.
Jack Cullen's a good fighter, isn't he? That's a great signing, that.
Troy Williamson, I know he's been pestering around and hovering over the post and that. You've
Yeah.
got so many boxers that are going to come over. Obviously, like say that Regi's progress. I still want to see that. I'm hoping to be in talks with him about that. There's people now BKFC is becoming a mainstream sport. I want to see more boxers, more MMA fighters from the UK, big names come over and
Like
sign up.
Darren Till's toyed with it a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, but Darren Till doesn't want it, man. He keeps moaning about his hands and that. So just get people that there's, there's plenty of fighters out there that'll fight 100%. I mean, you've got like the likes of what's his name now? I called him out a few times. I can't even remember. He's a UFC fighter. I think he's fought PFL. You've got PFL fighters. I think. I mean, it'd probably be worth Dave speaking to the chairman of PFL and doing like a co-promotion where you get a PFL fighters fighting BKFC fighters on a bare
Yeah,
knuckle event.
that'd be mad.
You know what I mean? It'd be incredible. Like, but I think these things can happen when you reach out, and I'm hoping the UK now we start signing fighters, big names over here that draw attention and sell tickets and put bums on seats to start helping us out. I would happily take a step down from a main event for a Derek Chisora. So someone's come to me and was like, "Oh, you're a world champion, but Derek Chisora was going to headline the card." I'd be like, "Yeah, fantastic," because I know that every arse is going to be on that seat before Derek fights.
Yeah,
Because 9 times out of 10, once Derek fights, and if you was after, you probably find a quarter of the crowd would probably leave because they come for Derek. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? So I don't know.
There's loads of different there's loads of different like fighters that have retired from the game now. For example, you could have like the likes of Ricky Burns headlining a show up in Scotland, Anthony
Exactly.
Crolla
I think
headlining a
Ricky Burns
show.
would do it. I think Anthony Crowell, there's loads. I mean, like I've got friends that I reckon Kane Musa from PFL. I think he will come across and do it. There's room there. I'm telling you, there's room. I mean, I think if they offered Brad Pickett to come back and have a go, we'd probably do it with BKFC.
Yeah,
I think you know what I mean. I think you I don't know. I just want to see. I think me and you both. We want to see top level UK fighters come into BKFC now in the UK and start selling it how the Americans have done it. How you Ben Ruffles, Mike Perry's, Eddie Alvarez's. You know what I mean? You're uh oh God, Taylor. What's the name now? Paige Van Zant and stuff. How they've all sold it over in America with Chad Mendes. This is
yeah,
what you want now. You need big superstars in the UK doing it because what'll happen is them boxing fans, them MMA fans who watch it on the telly, will go watch it live and then be like, wow, this is what we want to see now. This is what's happened in America. USA have killed it now because now they've created actual fans that want to go to watch the fights and not go there to support the friend. These are living fans that are going there to watch the fights, and you don't really have that in the UK, and that's what we need next.
Yeah, like when I ran up to the top of that stadium just before the show started, and it was filling up just to grab like a pizza and that.
Yeah,
And the fans are literally queues long for the merchandise. They've all got the
yeah,
BKFC stuff on with the buckets of popcorn, the beers, and all that. Do you know what I mean? The proper get into it, mate.
yeah, unbelievable. When we went to New York, mate, the queue was incredible for the merchandise. I know at Wembley they didn't really. I think they sold some, but I didn't like nothing like America, mate. America, it's like they're so over the top with their sports. They're not in a bad way. Like they just love it, and then we need that energy in the UK. And I think to get that energy, we need to be the big names or top names from top sports need to be coming over to BKFC, bridging the gap and headlining the events, getting Wembley events back on the O2. Do you know what I mean? The
Yeah,
co-op in Manchester, the utility in Birmingham, and then it will stand out more. Then I think that's the only thing we're lacking on because obviously we're just built with homegrown fighters. If you look at me, I never come from anything. I just came from bare knuckle. I'm a homegrown bare knuckle fighter. 10 fights in, numerous championships, big name. I've created a massive name for myself. I've done really well, but I still need, what I mean. I still would like, and I reckon I need a nice big top UFC boxer name to come across and help me on a show, sell it out because I can only do so much where another big name who's known nationally to a massive extent is gonna. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna put the icing on the cake when it comes to selling tickets.
100% it is, mate. And obviously, with you being a champion that now, Connor, like, does it give you that like extra fucking fire up your ass to be like, right,
100%.
I'm doing
Yeah,
it now.
yeah. I mean, like, look at. I've been a lot more mature. I'm level-headed now. So like the old me as well. Like I said some stupid things and I cried about not getting fights, and obviously I put that behind me now. And I'm a little bit mature. And I've got a lot of time on my side. I'm 30 years old. They could turn around to me now and go, "Connor, we're going to shove you for a year," and I go, "Sound." I'll just keep ticking over, and I'll come back because I know I've still got a lot of youth and time on my side, as opposed to these people now that are on the ends of their careers. Do you know what I mean? They're at the top, but at the end of their careers, and it's only 2 3 years I've left max for them, where I've got double that. So I can sit back now, be a little bit more mature, level headed. I'm the UK champion. I'm not going to take unnecessary fights. I've still got to think with a business head and think, right, what fights make sense for me? Because at the end of the day, I've just recovered after a long injury with my finger, as you know, and that finger will never fully recover ever. But I don't really want to waste. How can I say? I don't want to waste my body, my health on fights that are not really going to make sense. They need to be now. They need to be titles. You know what I mean? Or if big money fights. You know what I mean? Like a decent money fight. That's gonna encourage me to get up and do it because otherwise it's hard. I just want European titles or world titles now. That's the plan now. You know what I mean? You just want belts around my waist and making a legacy.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And it'll all happen, bro. It'll all come.
Hopefully, mate. Yeah, hopefully.
And what's your thoughts on Lorenzo Hunt coming back, challenging Chris Camozzi for the cruiserweight title?
Yeah. To be fair, I get on with Chris more than I speak to Chris more. So yeah, I can't wait to see that fight. I think Kamoza being the champion now is a harder man to beat. I feel like champions are harder to beat because it's weird. You train like a contender, but obviously now I'm a champion. I don't know. I feel different. I feel better as a champion. I just feel more like mature, level-headed, cooler, calmer. You know what I mean? More dangerous because I'm the champion now. I've got something to prove. So we might see that with Kamosi. We might see a different fighter. And don't forget as well, Hunt's come off a bad knockout. Okay, yeah, he broke his arm in that as well. But yeah, he was gonna get stopped regardless. And it's been a lengthy layoff for him. So I'm interested to see how that fight goes.
Yeah, there's some massive fights in the pipeline coming up, like, and hopefully you'll be involved in one of them soon,
Hopefully,
mate.
hopefully we get some news soon and start looking at it because, like I said, mate, I'm in shape. I've got a six pack and that still, and Yeah, I've got my 6 pack back. My weight's coming off. I'm getting skinnier. My fitness is getting there. So, and I ain't got a camp or a fight lined up yet. So, it's perfect, really. To be fair, I'm in prime condition to put myself back into the shape and the condition I was for last fight.
And before we get into sponsors and shout outs, mate, have you got a message for the top 565 pounders out there?
Listen, you're not the top. I'm the top. I'm the man, the number one, and I'm coming. And I ain't coming for you all. I'm only coming to what makes sense. So whoever's got the fucking belt, just let you know. I'll put you on your ass and wrap it around your head, you clown.
Fucking
Uh,
class. But
Sam, and in terms of sponsors, I haven't obviously Silverback that I've been in, but yeah, no, mainly to be fair, now just Fitness Factory, Simon, and that's it for now. Until any sponsors that I can probably secure for the next fight, and they'll be getting shouted out.
yeah, I just want to say as well, big shout out to Mark from Silverbacks. He
Yeah,
sponsors me as well. He helped. I know he helps your gym out a lot and all the lads
he
down there.
does.
And
Yeah, he does.
I was speaking to Simon on an interview, and he said like he's going through a bit of a bad time at the minute with his health and that. So I just want to
Yeah,
wish him the best and that as well if
yeah.
he's
Wish you the
watching the
best, Mark.
podcast.
Yeah, definitely. I
But
wish you the
sweet bro, nice one for coming on the
best.
podcast, pal. And
Nice to
I'll
see you,
speak to
man.
you very soon.
Yeah, nice to speak to you.
You
Sound,
too,
mate.
brother.
In a bit,
Bye,
mate.
mate.
Bye.